Hey everyone, it's Ash. So, I want to show you guys what I've been working on the past week or so. This will be, of course, accompanied by the usual update zip, but I thought, rather than just getting into what the new function features and all that are, why don't I first just show you a bit of a demo? So, I've already, uh, as you can kind of see, I've already imported RiffRaft and loaded Unity. It's hidden in the background here. You can't quite see it yet. But, yeah, let me get right to it, actually, and show you what I've been working on. So, there's water. There's stuff under the water. I have added, how do I put it? I've added some flavor to the project. So, let's begin. Cool little camera pan here, and you can see aims along with giant circles. These are what I call goals or goalposts. There's number ordering on them, so you have to go through them in the right order. You could probably already imagine all the cool stuff we could do with that. And you can see the fish. I'm not super happy with the fish, but it's a particle system. I don't have a mesh for them, so it's just a 2D texture that's moving around, and they add a little bit of fun flavor, I think. Um, I do like what I managed to do with this, kelp grass type stuff here. But you know, I think the visual fog and all the little visual stuff that really speak for themselves. They really do make this feel more alive, in my opinion. So I will intentionally not go through these goals in order and show you what that looks like. So I've moved up to, as you can see in the bottom right here, and now I'm moving over the goals. So if I were to go through goal number 1 before I go through goal number 0, which I'm doing here, boom, it changes color. It's red. And now because I've gone through 1 and then 0, I've gone through in the wrong order. And you can see the nice smooth camera pan, which I felt was better than just keeping the camera in a static position. And yeah, I've added that camera pan. I've added a lot of little visual features. For example, if the camera ever breaks the surface of the water, the fog turns back to the original. I've added that nice little dive under the water animation at the start when you successfully connect to Mathematica, excuse me. And yeah, now let me get into the technical details of what I've managed to do. So back to Mathematica, and let me reset. So, oh, you couldn't see it, but when I called reset, that not only now resets the resize this, I guess, but that might lose visual clarity. Let me instead resize the actual window. And move that over here. Yeah, you guys should be able to see that. And so when I called reset, not only does it now clear the movement history over here, but it also resets the goalposts if they've been activated, which is useful for a number of reasons. You can tell students to then just try again. It kind of resets the entire project without having to relaunch Unity or what have you, or restart the game. But yeah. So first up, Start AIMS has a few options. You might have noticed that. So technically, these are just passed through to different commands. In addition to Start AIMS, you don't have to pass these commands to Start AIMS. There's AIMS load level. I clearly can't type, which takes in a level file. Now, a level file is a basic text file, essentially, that will... Let me see whether I can't just find it for you and show you here. I don't think we can open it in... Alright. Let me pop it open in a text editor. There we go. You guys should be able to see that. Yeah. So that's all that this level file has. That's XYZ, and then, well, not really XYZ, but XYZ of rotation as well. So to translate, if we were to go back and then and then start up the connection, you can see that the first goalpost, whoops, that's in the way. Can't see anything there. Let me put that over here. Yeah. So you can see the first goalpost is at 005. The second goalpost is at 007. And they're both 90 degrees rotated on the z-axis. That is to say, you know, upright as opposed to lying down flat. So while this is pretty simple as an initial version of this level loader system, as you could probably imagine, there's a lot of room for expansion and adding more things. And you can make some pretty interesting levels just by spawning goals at different rotations and orientations and making them at specific orders you have to get through. So there's a lot of fun with that. And yeah. So as I was saying, that's this argument here, which literally just passes it on to this method. You can see the output here. That's what this method will output. This will just pass it through, allowing you to minimize the amount of function calls you have to make, thus allowing a educational notebook to say, for this exercise, call this command to load the right level, etc. And then there's also a command known as AIMSPP quietly. I always forget the second P for whatever reason. So this takes true or false. That's what the second argument is. That tells it to mute these messages. That is to say, don't print this stuff. That's just a feature for people like me who don't like too much, how do I put it, console spam. It's not necessary, and individually in each method you can overwrite that and just pass in a true to print or false to not print or what have you. Yeah. The quietly thing isn't perfectly working, but I'll fix that before I release it. And yeah. So as you can see, there's also stuff like there's now a number argument you can pass in. This is to prevent having to what's the word? This is to prevent having to call move AIMS upward 5 times in a for loop or something. You can pass in the number 5 to move AIMS forward, and it'll move AIMS 5 units forward. It will still send in 5 individual movement commands because of the way that this is written. If you were to just say move 5 units forward as one command, AIMS does this all over the course of a second. So it would zoom forwards at 5 times its normal speed to get there within 1 second, and that was suboptimal for neat and smooth movement. So under the scenes, all it does is it does its own for loop for the number that you pass in. Of course, you can not pass in a number, and it'll default to 1, and so we can have educational notebooks which teach basic for loops as well, if we wanted to. Yeah, that is pretty much it. But I hope you enjoy. I've had a fair amount of fun, making this level look nice and playing with these particle effects and grass and trying to get it all feeling like it's underwater and the smooth following and all that. And yeah, that's that. This is Ash. Hope you have a nice weekend.